I'm so excited. So tonight I get to interview a very dear friend and someone that I've known for a number of years, and I'll explain how I know Ning. But this is Ning Baizura. I know that many people in Southeast Asia and Australia would be very aware as to who Ning is, but my story is we met on the school playground.
That's right.
Right.
Hi.
Everyone, this
Miss
is Ning.
you.
I miss you, babe. I miss the banter. I miss the dancing.
Yes.
I miss it all. I miss the singing. Your fabulous and mine not so fabulous singing.
Oh, you do sing for me too.
I try to do
class.
backup. Well, I do have that lip sync video that we did.
Oh my God, yes.
It has to come out at some point, right?
It has to. I give you the permission to release it. Go ahead.
I'll get you to sign off on it first, you know. Yeah, your permission. And our other backup singer as well. I need her permission as well.
That's right.
So how we met was our little boys were going to the same preschool. And
yes,
we just got chatting and went for breakfast one time with another couple of mums, and that was awesome. Yeah. And then someone actually said to me, "Oh, you know who that lady is, don't you?" As in you. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know her name's Ning and her son's name is Ryan." And they're like, "No, she's Ning Baizura, like the famous singer, like the, you know, everybody knows her." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I went home and I Googled you.
Yeah.
And then I watched about 4 YouTube videos of you.
Oh my God.
And I was like, shit, she's really amazing. She's like Whitney Houston of Asia. Far out, man.
But that was then, and I think because the fact that I was just being myself and you accepted me for who I am as a mom, and then a friend, a mom, and then just, you know, somebody who just loves to just adrenaline junkie kind of person, you know, and then we became really close as friends, and then you come and watch my show, and then later you're like, okay, cool, I know Ning, all right, she's my friend, but not that person on stage, because you knew me first as who I am when I'm off stage, which is great.
Which is Ryan's mum.
Yes.
And you knew me as Soul's mum. And I think that also makes for a really genuine connection, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, big time.
But I just want to elaborate to the listeners that Ning is the quintessential diva, and I mean that in the most positive way, because when you meet this woman and you get to know her, she's absolutely wonderful. Her heart is amazing, but she sings like nothing else. And if you don't know who she is, you know, Google hers. Google, Google,
YouTube, Instagram,
Wikipedia. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's a great introduction. I think a lot of people do, those who know me, whether it's, you know, in Malaysia or Southeast Asia, wherever I go, they have a certain type of expectation, I guess, when they think, oh, she's a diva. Oh, she's a soulful singer. Oh, she's like Whitney Houston. She wants this. But actually, it's not even like that. That's why I'm blessed, because I'm always reminded to be grounded by my friends, people like you, you know, real moms who are like working hard and who are just like independent women, strong women. So that keeps me grounded and rooted. That's very, very important. If not, I can always like forget where I am, you know. But I don't want that, and I'm blessed that I have friends who actually remind me of who I am.
Yeah. I think I want to invite you to tell a little bit about your story, because today's episode is it's about talking about the soul, or doing things that light you up, or following your purpose, which is really important, because even as we age, we should never ever forget our essential purpose, who we are as people, and the gifts that we've been given. So I'm going to switch myself off, and I just want you to tell your wonderful story, how you actually got into singing.
Wow. Okay. Just in case people don't know, I am another 6 more years to 50, and I love it. I'm 46. I love it. I haven't turned 46 yet. But having said that, going through this journey of passionately singing, it took me a while to discover what my purpose was. Of course, everybody goes through that. So when I first started singing at a very young age of 9 years old, I was on doing radio commercials and learning how to sing with an opera linguist teacher, studying violin, playing piano, and at the same time very active in sports. And my mom was a single mom. She still is a single mom, and it's tough because we don't come from a well-to-do background at all, because she's like, what teachers get paid, at that time, which is just very, very little. So she was very hardworking, trying to send me to go to learn all these music classes, learn how to play violin, learn how to do this. And I appreciate that. And from that point, when I was 9 years old, I knew I wanted to be a singer. It was weird. It was just a feeling that I can do this. I just love music because that's my way of expressing myself and my way out of just becoming, I don't know, making people feel good, basically, and touching people's soul. And I at the age of 9, I knew I was going to be a singer. No matter how big or small, I just want to sing. That was it. Because I knew I had this talent, I've got this voice. And then I started evolving, entered some competition, but there was not much back then, which was in the 90s, really. And my first record I released when I was only 16 years old, and I was still schooling. And it wasn't legal still, because the recording label said, no, we're not going to release this until you're legally 17, right? Or else, we're going to get into trouble. So we waited for a year to release this album. And I was just discovered just from one contest, one small competition. I didn't actually win. I got the 3rd prize as a best voice of Asia, meaning it's like it's an award where they give you some amount of money, but at the same time they have to develop you. So it's for you to become something. It's the best artist development kind of award. So I was lucky at that point because I felt, okay, I knew that this is the right thing to do, and I know that music is in my blood, and singing is something that I can definitely share because I have this voice. So then when the record came out in 1993, 1994, I was already a little bit grown up, but still didn't have that exposure as much as now, because, back then there was no social media, nothing. It was just mainly you, the fans, which will write into you. So I would get letters from fans when I first came out with my album. They would give me teddy bears, they would give me presents, letters, and I would read and open my fan mail. And it just felt really nice at that point because people were just acknowledging me and saying how different my soprano voice was. It's good. But that was the beginning of everything, which was pros and cons. I was so excited getting to the industry. And then the next album came out, and the 3rd album came out. And then there was a lot of people who wanted to take advantage of me. They were all looking at me going, we can make money off this girl. It was more about, I didn't care about the money, really. Literally until today, for me, it's just to make people feel good. There was no book or management booklet of how to become an entertainer. Here's the book, At that point, there was nothing, no reference for me. Google wasn't that big, and you couldn't actually go on the internet and find. You can, but Wikipedia wasn't that great. There was not much information on YouTube. Later on, my music was more dramatic, more melancholy. Everything was I think it was good, really, because I'm telling people about my life and what I'm going through. And I was connecting more with, how my father was not there, and being the only girl, and how I'm trying to take care of my mother. And at 16, I was already taking care of my mom and my stepsisters, basically the person who was giving the income to everyone, and that was tough because I didn't really have my teenage life. There was no teenage life. For me, it was like, oh, 16 years old, 17, I'm already on stage, you know, putting on makeup, wearing makeup, and I have to be an adult. And the songs I'm singing is, if I don't write it myself, you know, I felt if I don't teach myself to write and express myself soulfully through my music, whether it's good or bad, I am never ever gonna be this wholesome, or I'm never gonna evolve, you know. And at that point, I knew I had to leave. There was one time I actually left Malaysia for a good 2 years just to live in. I went to Japan, released an album there, a jazz album, because I wanted to do something different. I got really fed up of recording labels. They kind of like all recording labels all around the world. Even Taylor Swift goes through this. You know, everybody's got this issue with their music label. So music labels have got their own set of their mindset of like how you should be a pop singer. So they wanted me to be a pop singer, but pop's not my genre. You know, I've always loved, you've seen my performances. I've always loved singing stuff from like, Etta James to, all the soulful, Roberta Flack, Anita Baker, soul, R&B.
Yeah, and I just want to interrupt and just let the listeners know that it took me a couple of years to actually see Ning sing live, just because it's like too hard to get a ticket, basically. So her husband actually managed, once I became friends with Chris, then I managed to get a ticket, and it was wonderful. It was a Valentine's Day, a private concert. So it was absolutely stunning.
Oh.
I mean, I'm a little bit, I'll just say, I do know music a bit. There's music in my family background, and of course I interviewed my sister last week, and she's a singer, so we've been brought up with singing. And I obviously can't sing, but I do.
Oh, you know your music. I know you.
I know my
music.
Yeah. And there is very few people that I would rate that would be able to sing those big ballads. And I think when we talk about big ballads, people know the people that you were describing, the singers. We're talking the big voices, the Whitney Houston, the Mariah Carey, those voices that are just phenomenal. They who else? Adele. You know, they would come out once in 5 years. You might hear someone like that. But I was blown away that when I saw Ning sing, she could sing any song like that, hands down. I literally had to pick my mouth up off the floor.
Thank you, babe.
for like 2 hours that you sang. And
I made sure you sat in front. I wanted you and Dave to like really sit in front and enjoy it, because having said that, having a crowd as close as that is just so enjoyable. It's not about performing for thousands or whatever, bigger crowd or what. But when you're in a smaller place, everything becomes very personal. It becomes much more, I don't know, it's just like touchy-feely. There's so much of emotions that night when I was performing, and I knew what you were going through, and you knew what I was going through. And some of the crowd that came, most of them were like just people who just wanted to just listen to good music and to just feel loved, to like cherish each other and love each other, because it was Valentine's. And I usually I like to tell a story. And when I'm on stage, I now, because of like maybe 28 years, 29 years of singing, it's taught me to just remind myself, okay, Ning, before whatever kind of show or performance or event, what is it that you want to tell? What is your motive? It's like you, right? When you want to, start doing a journey of your exercise or a class, what's the theme? Basically, that's what it's all about. You just have to be consistent, come up with a theme, and I usually write a story, and the story comes out through the songs. So my journey begins with, like, when it was Valentine's, I remember every story that I write, because I usually write everything down, and then I'll go, okay, so this song describes the best about how I grew up when I first fell in love. And then it goes into He Broke My Heart. And then after breaking my heart, I wrote another great song, Thanks for Breaking My Heart, because it's just another journey. And that was what I wanted my audience to feel. Until today, I find that because of that, I'm passionately and blessed for being able to be in tune with my soul, my spirit, and to tell people, look, you go through the same thing too. And that's when you had a tear in your eyes, and everybody had a little bit of like, okay, I saw you do it. You're like, okay. I say, I'm not gonna cry, but it's okay. And then later everybody started texting me and said, you woman, you just made us feel like this. And that's what matters, because it's supposed to be a journey of love. And if you perform for other stuff, it's got to be a journey of something else too. And life is a journey. And if you can relate to the songs, like whatever songs may, that people can hear, you don't even understand some of the Malay songs I sang, but you said, wow, the way that you're phrasing the song, because you're so intuitive with your emotions and your instincts at that time. You just told me, babe, what is this song in Malay? Remember Awan Yang Terpilu, when I was singing, and you're like, it just touched my heart. At some point I was not even breathing. That's what matters the most for me, when I know that people are like holding their breath, because I am doing the same thing, and here I am trying to sing. But the hardest part is when you sing soulfully. Okay, so my background is opera, right? So I chose to sing rhythm and blues and jazz. Every record that I record that I make has got a journey and a story behind it. So my full album that was only released in Japan, I wrote everything from scratch. It was totally inspired by this guy that I fell in love with, and he dumped me for another girl. So that was a good story, to tell.
It's a shit story, actually. But you know what?
Shit feeling.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
The whole world can relate, and that's why it was probably a sold out album. And that's one of the things I just want to touch on, is that I am so inspired by your story, like how you got started, but I only met you, in our 40s.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful that I've met you at this time of your life, when you really don't care what people think, and you do have a very clear sense of your gifts and your purpose. And so I want to ask the question, like, what does it mean and how does it feel to be a singer in your 40s compared to your story when you were in your 20s and you were breaking out and you were big and hot like Taylor kind of thing? And every global artist, you nailed it on the head, describes the challenges that they go through with recording artists and bad management. I think that's actually how many great records get written.
Yes.
Because everyone has the same experience there. But what does it mean, and how does it feel to you today to be still the artist that you are, still putting out amazing songs? And what are some of the best life lessons that you've taken with you?
Wow. Okay. That's a big question. It's I understand what you're trying to tell people out there, because right now a lot of women out there, when they reach 40, they think, oh wow, I've just damn, hit 40, what am I gonna do? I'm getting older. The premenopause is gonna come, and my hormones are gonna go haywire.
I'm just gonna interrupt you. I don't think it really happens at 40. I'll tell you my friends. My friends say, I'm 40, bitches. This is awesome. Right? And then we all go out and we dance and we hit the clubs and we actually celebrate that age. It's just when we get to sort of 45 that we start thinking, oh, hang on. Things really are changing. I can't eat that. I can't drink that. I can't stuff up. And it just kind of really hits you like a tidal wave.
Yes.
And but the 40s, when we hit the 40s, we come in like
we're excited about getting into the 40 club, right? Yeah. I was partying too. And then when the reality actually sunk in, and then you're like sort of like, I'm grateful and blessed that I have a great husband and a great mom. And I don't have a big family, but at least I'm so close to my small family, and my friends are always there for me. I have really, really good friends like you, really close people that I can always talk to. So, but when after turned 40, you're right, it was like a question of, oh, now I'm 41, 42, and I just stopped counting. Literally, I just stopped counting. It was just like, whatever music I'm gonna write, it's just basically what I feel like I want to put out there.
You had your first concert, your first live concert in the weekend.
Yes.
How did that feel?
Yes. My first ever. It was a small event last Friday. There was a lot of mixed feelings. You know, I mean, being a woman, we're so in tune to our emotions. And for me at that point, I was thinking, okay, what am I going to wear? That was the first thing. What songs I'm going to do? Who's my audience? How am I going to reach out to them? And what are the songs? But I was only asked to do 3 songs. But for me, the 3 songs felt like 30 songs. I asked the event coordinator, and I said, who's my audience? That was the first thing. They said, oh, it's a night where, you know, you're going to be saying this is in service is, I think it's for the ministry. So it's this one of the VIPs who's been in service for more than 50 years. So I went, oh, okay. So it's kind of like a memorable, honorable night, you know, unforgettable, those kind of songs that kind of like simply the best. So I knew the songs have got to be targeted for people who are 40 and above, because that was the audience, and everybody was so dressed up to their nines. That was great. The first thing I did as well was, what am I going to wear? Because I haven't been dressing up, like I haven't put on a long dress for ages. And, you know, it's like, let's try on these clothes, because I've been exercising and I know I look good. And I felt really good putting on this dress, which was like a dress that I wore for my concert in Singapore in 2016. And I can still wear that dress. And that was the dress that I decided, no, I'm going to wear this dress. It's a long black gown. It's beautiful. It's a little bit over the top, but who cares? I went up on stage. It was the weird part was I was not allowed, because of the SOPs, right? People were asked, especially the event coordinator said to me, okay, so you're not allowed to go down. You're not allowed to say hello to people. You're not allowed to shake hands, which is normal. I said, okay, that's fine. But I said, well, what if I want to feel, sometimes I feel like I want to go down to express myself better. I'm not going to go so close to the table. Oh, no. You can't do that. You know, it's just going to be pitch dark, pitch black. So literally, I felt like I was performing. People were clapping. They were happy. But there was no intimacy. There was no response. You know, I felt like people were cold. And everything that I said, like, hi, good evening, I'm Ning. You know, I start everything on a high note. Everything's hyped up. You know, I'm just like all energetic. You know, I drank all my high energy drinks and all that. And there was no response. And actually there was, just because it was too far apart. I felt like, okay, I'm not going to feel down. I can do this. So I sang my first song, finished the song. It was a Whitney Houston song, I Am Every Woman, of course. Oh, happy International Women's Week.
Oh, thank you. So after you tell this story, you need to sing a little bit of that line.
I can.
Okay,
So I sang, I'm every woman, it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. Oh, whoa, yeah, like that. I sang that song with the purpose of actually dedicating it to all the women out there. And at the same time, I realized, hang on, it can't just be for the women. And I said, you know, behind every woman, there's always a great man, whether it's a few men or whatever. There's all these men that makes us as who we are. And all I gotta say is I'm brave enough to sing the song, because I felt like every time I go out there, even though it's for the event is for something else, but I try and make it as a purpose of telling people I choose this song because of this, and I respect every woman out there. And I didn't have an opportunity, and it was just great that I had the chance of singing the song, and I just wanted to tell people. And all the women were so happy. You know, they actually came up to me when I saw them at the lobby of the hotel, and they were like, thank you for singing, you know, I'm Every Woman, you know, we miss Whitney Houston. I said, well, actually it's not Whitney's original song, it's Shaka Khan. You know, I said, but that's, and then with this hairdo and everything, and they were like, at first we didn't realize or recognize it was you. We were thinking like, who is this Black American girl? And then later we saw, oh, it's Ning. And I felt really good, because later I realized they were actually listening, you know, and whatever songs. And secondly, the second song I picked was all my hits medley, because I felt like, I know it's not a concert, but I'm gonna make it my concert. Which is,
Absolutely.
I gave
Give them something to remember.
Yes, and it was so good that because of that night, I've got a booking next week.
Yeah.
Again, another Friday, and then again another Friday. So I'm blessed, because I feel like sometimes people ask this much, right? But people like us, women like us, we give more than that. We give 200%, because we feel like everybody deserves a little bit more. And I so passionately always give a little bit more, because I feel like, yeah, you asked for 3 songs, but I'm gonna give you more. So I gave them like a whole long medley, you know, of a few songs, and I thought, it's okay, it's gonna go a long way. And that's my first event and my first show being up on stage. And I told them, thank you so much for making me feel normal again.
Yeah. Oh, Ning, thank you so much for the stories. I mean, just listening and spending some time with you now is so uplifting.
It's never enough talking to you, you know. I always miss talking to you. It's always great. Thank you, Tracy. I miss you. We all miss you so much.
I miss you too, babe. So I'm going to keep this part in without editing, but I will be pushing pause and having a good long catch up with Ning.
Okay. Yes.